Hi, I'm Jeanne Fiorini, and you are in the Tarot Tips. Today we're going to continue with this idea of the diagrammatic cues that we can find when we look at our tarot cards. I am going to use the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but I would encourage you to pay attention to this aspect of things as you're working with whatever deck you are using. There's so many decks to choose from now. The piece of the Rider-Waite-Smith that I do always appreciate is that nothing is on the card to make it pretty. Nothing is on the card by accident. Nothing is there that doesn't have some sort of symbolic meaning. So something as prominent as who are the people facing in the card, or what is the landscape in the card. All these things are going to be important. Today we're going to talk about cards that show people with their backs toward us and what that might mean. I always find this very helpful when trying to describe to clients what the card might be trying to communicate. So let's go to the tarot table. We're going to start with my favorite, I think, example of the person has their back toward us idea. And this is the Three of Wands. Clearly, this person is ready to go. They are standing at the gate. The back toward us shows that this person is focusing on the future. They don't care about the past, and they're really not all that invested or interested in the present. It's all about moving forward. Let's go. I think it's interesting, and I like to just point out, here's the previous card, Two of Wands, where we see somebody where we can see half of him. He's not quite here yet. He's not ready to walk through the gate. He's thinking about it. We see him from the side, so we see a portion of his face. But here it's like, nope, okay, I figured it out, ready to go. I like when those two cards come up. There's a nice easy movement from considering making a change and then ready to go. Okay, this idea about back toward us, ready for the future. Here we see a card with some heaviness to it, Eight of Cups. Again, we don't see that person's face. They are walking away from cups intentionally, dressed in red, so red is the will. Here's this person detaching themselves, saying, I am done. I no longer want to face, if you want to say, this emotional entanglement. So leaving the past, leaving even the present, and moving into an unknown future. Back toward us. Here we see the Six of Swords. Three people in the boat there. The predominant one is the person with the pole pushing the boat, but all of these people out in the middle of the water here, in transition, have left the past behind. They're really just being very still and waiting to see what's on the other side. So, transition and passage with the backs toward us. Now we can look at both the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Swords and see this same idea of I'm done, I'm done. We don't see their faces. We see a sense of resignation in both of those cards. There's no focus on the past. There's no point, no pun intended. And even the present, it's more just like, I want to put this burden down. So again, the idea about an uncertain future, but we know what doesn't work for us, and we just need to be in that place of, again, transition, and with these two cards, conclusion. These have movement to them, I would say, obviously. These have more resignation. But still, the idea of the back toward us is the past isn't useful, and even the present doesn't hold a lot of juice for me. We can see that with the Five of Cups. We do see a little bit of a side view here, but essentially this person is shut down. They're kind of stuck. So with the 5, They're in between the transition and the conclusion. But we see being in no man's land here between what isn't going to work and what might potentially work in the future. Back toward us, no interaction, no interest in, I want to say something like withdrawal. And we see that here with the Seven of Cups as well. When we get into the Cup cards, it has a little bit of a different tone. With the Seven of Cups, we see this shadowy person in the inner realm. So in this sense, the back is toward the tangible world, the physical world, and we're really focusing on the inner world. And I think we could probably say that about this card too, that the back is toward the outer focus and moving really very much inwardly withdrawn here, inwardly focusing here, not really available to outside consciousness. The back toward us. Just pay attention to where that shows up. And the last card I wanted to show was clearly an example of this, but I'm really going to have to think about what might it mean that the people in the Ten of Cups have their back toward us. So I'm going to leave that one there as kind of a hanging. Let's think about that a little bit. In terms of it being a 10, I could see where the adults might be saying, we don't need to think about the past. We just need to be grateful for where we are, thankful for what we've accomplished. I also think that there's probably some esoteric significance about the way they're holding their hands, which is a lot like the people in the Judgment card are holding their hands. A similar card of fruition and things coming into fulfillment. I have a feeling that might be connected to a Hebrew letter or something esoteric here, this kind of image here that seems to embrace this whole thing. But I couldn't really escape the fact, as I was going through the deck and looking at cards that I wanted to show with the backs toward us, that that's a pretty significant aspect of the Ten of Cups. That the couple, not so much the children, but the couple have resolved something. That there's something that is not permanent, but fulfilled for them. So pay attention to the visuals when you're working with your cards. They're not there by accident, and how they fit together can often tell you a lot about what's really going on and what wants to be communicated. I'll be interested to hear if people have thoughts about that Ten of Cups. Please feel free to leave your comments, as always. I'll see you next time. Next time we're going to talk about one more aspect of diagrammatic cues that can help give you an idea about what is the card's message. So we'll see you next time.